This technology is personally very interesting to me. I have a mother-in-law with severe dementia. Both of you just briefly introduce yourselves to the AngelMD audience.
So my name is Adam Sobel. I'm the founder and CEO of CareBand. I started the company back in 2014 after a conversation with my dad. My background's in cybersecurity and software engineering, but everybody in my family is a doctor except for me, kind of the odd man out of this group. My dad specifically is a geriatrician and manages about 10,000 patients living in Ohio. So I told him about this cool new technology that Apple had brought out called Bluetooth Low Energy and a few other technologies. And he immediately said, what if you could use that technology to help people living with dementia and Alzheimer's stay safe? So I looked out into the market and the technology just was terrible. In the nursing home side, it's all RFID based and hasn't been innovated in 30 years. And in the at-home space, it's very institutional still, very big, beige, and ugly. And doesn't really help the person. The immediate need and the goal of the technology was around keeping people with dementia safe who might wander and get lost. How do we innovate in a space that, has a very low adoption rate in terms of technology or new technologies, might not have an IT staff to help you implement or to support some kind of system, and might not even have Wi-Fi technology in the building or maybe just in certain parts of the building. You had to build a device that was comfortable and somebody with dementia would want to wear it or would actually wear it. And what we've developed has been a really interesting technology that combines state-of-the-art communication technologies and machine learning to not only keep somebody safe, but also look for early changes in their behavior patterns. So the device provides real-time indoor and outdoor location tracking up to a few miles without using Wi-Fi or cellular technology. So location is number one. On the device, there's also a help button that can be enabled or disabled depending on the needs of that individual. So we're collecting data on people's location, activity, and behavior, and aggregating it to look for early changes in condition, but also providing actionable intelligence for the clinicians and the staff to actually improve the quality of life for that individual and the health of the person.
That's awesome. Phyllis, provide us a little bit of your background and the role that you play at CareBand.
Sure. I'm Phyllis Gasper. I have my PhD is in nursing, and I also did a postdoc in gerontological nursing interventions at the University of Iowa. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said patterns. And with the CareBand, if you're able to follow a person and look to see how many steps, what was the movement, you would expect to see the similar type of movement day to day. People are pretty predictable. But so when you see a change, does that change indicate something else is going on? So also within that same pattern, if we can look at movement and the speed of the gait, and we can note that over time, and let's say that it's even been over a month period, a person would not be assessed by the geriatrician or their healthcare provider in a month period of time. Usually it's a longer period of time between assessments. But if we can see that there's starting to be maybe a change in the amount of movement or the speed of the movement, and we can say, oh, is something happening before it actually occurs, and we can get a head start on it. So from a healthcare provider perspective, it may give us clues with an altered change in movement or in the pattern of movement or even in the speed of the movement because of increased frailty. One of the concepts I think that is gaining a lot of interest is life space. And some of the research has shown that as a person progresses in their experience with dementia, there is a decreased life space. It's very hard to capture. How do you capture life space if you don't have something like CareBand? Right now, we rely on their care provider. Well, have they altered this? Have they altered that? Do you see them moving less? Well, that's very subjective. And what CareBand is going to help us do is look at that life space more objectively. Adam had mentioned agitation. Right now, we use a lot of different interventions, pharmacological and non-pharmacological, but it's still very subjective if we see a change in the amount of agitation that a person has experienced. So if CareBand can capture subtle changes that aren't picked up subjectively, we can maybe start saying, this medication, this pharmacological intervention may be effective, or it may be the non-pharmacological piece that we're seeing subtle changes in that agitation level, and we're saying, oh, maybe we can start decreasing the amount of meds. From an objective readout that we can look at various aspects of CareBand data to help us focus in individually for a person who is experiencing dementia. And I think from a clinician point of view, what an opportunity for us to use that data from an objective point of view and think about the time that nurses are spending reporting and documenting changes in condition when it could be very much decreased, because observation is a lot of the way that we're looking at clinical outcomes.
But when the person goes outside, then we immediately send an alert to the caregiver with a unique link and ability to track them as they go outside. And you kind of mentioned this too, Michael, earlier. You know, depending on the environment of that facility or of that home, the range of this device is pretty exceptional. Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity in facilities today to increase family transparency. This technology could enable, you know, an increase of that family transparency. So you could think of, you know, for family care conferences or for the family to have an app that has a single source of truth to know, you know, over the past week, my mom, you know, woke up at 7 a.m. every day. She went to breakfast. She went to therapy for an hour. She did these activities or, you know, went to these activities, went to bed. You know, you can have all this data laid out in a way that, you know, provides peace of mind for you and shows you that the facility is actually, you know, doing what you're paying them to do. So
connecting the family to some type of a picture of where that loved one is, even if they're gone just for a half hour. You know, we know that individuals can get out of the house and get quite a distance in half an hour.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to share our company and what we're working on. I think there's, you know, there's a lot of innovative technology out there, but I think it's very cool that, you know, as a platform that you guys are willing to do this and to push this content out. I think that's great. So thank you. We currently have 3 nursing homes that are using the product today for customers. We also have 3 ongoing research studies, and then we're working on different partnerships right now to figure out how do we scale into the market and really grow our market footprint. Our focus of the company really, you know, we would like to get to the people living at home, but the first step is really to prove it out in the senior living facilities and provide a product of value to those facilities and those communities. So, we have launched a new set of solutions using our existing technology and platform called SafeTrack to be able to enable these applications for different communities, corporations, and governments.
Well, I'm really excited about what you and your team have created. See a real market need for it. As a technologist, I appreciate the intricacies of what you've built, and you know, thinking of it as a platform and already demonstrating its application to tracing just shows the power of what you put together. So congratulations to the team.